You've seen the videos, those slow motion drone shots, hikers that look like they just stepped out of a catalog, the pristine campsites. Well, after 25 years out here, I can tell you that's about 5% of the experience. The other 95%, well, it's a lot weirder, a lot more repetitive, and a lot more human than those edits suggest. Today we're talking about the stuff they don't show you on YouTube, the habits you develop out there, the mental loops, and the other stuff they don't warn you about. So let's get into it. Everybody tells you to get out on the trail early so that you beat the heat. What they don't tell you is that first person out on the trail is the designated spiderweb sweeper. You're going to be clearing a path with your face for the next 3 miles. Every 30 feet, you're doing the spider dance, wiping silk off your sunglasses and out of your mouth. It's a low-level physical tax that you pay for an early bird start. You are literally grooming the trail so the hikers behind you have a clear run. But it's not just the physical stuff. So, after you get past all those nasty spider webs, your brain starts doing something weird. It turns into a biological record player with a scratched disc. I once had Bruce Springsteen's The River stuck in my head for 48 hours. Didn't matter how beautiful the trail was or how steep the climb. It was just me and the boss stuck on a loop for 2 days straight. There's no off switch out here. And at about mile 15, your brain is screaming just to hear another tune. And then there's that constant micromanagement of your gear. You hit the sun, the hat goes on. Get into the shade, you're all sweaty, hat comes off. Back into the sun, here comes the hat. Now you're all sweaty, you hit some shade, hat comes off. You spend half your day trying to decide if your head is too hot or the sun is too bright. It's an endless cycle of faffing that eats up your focus, but it's the only way to stay comfortable when the terrain is changing every 5 minutes. Now, have you ever been thirsty out there, but your side pockets where your water bottles are is just a little too difficult to reach? You don't want to stop because you finally found your rhythm. And so you keep pushing. And then you see that perfect flat rock up ahead where you decide you're going to finally take off your pack and get that drink. But then you get to it and you think, nah, I can make it to that tree up ahead. So you keep walking. So you keep moving that goalpost, looking for that next spot just up ahead until you're completely bonked and dehydrated. And now you realize there's not a decent spot to sit for the next half mile. So you end up miserable, sitting in the dirt, in the sun, wishing you would have just taken that pack off for a second, 1.5 miles behind you. And every time I do take one of those breaks, well, when I get up, it's wallet, keys, phone. I do it obsessively. The whole time I'm out there, wallet, keys, phone, making sure I don't leave that somewhere in the middle of the wilderness, because our brains tell us without those things, we're gonna be completely screwed. Well, after you've managed that anxiety, you start the leapfrog race. This unintentional race with a complete stranger that you run into on the trail. Inevitably, on some of those busier trails, you're gonna pass a hiker out there. And as you go along, At some point, you're gonna stop and adjust your pack or take a break, and that person's gonna pass you. Then you get started again, see them on the side of the trail, and you pass them, and back and forth all day long. You don't know their name, but you have unintentionally been in some kind of a weird competition with a perfect stranger for the last 6 hours. It's the weirdest social interaction in the world, and it happens on almost every busy trail. Now, there's a specific kind of drain that comes when you know that your camp is about 1,000 feet in elevation above the elevation you're at now. And then the trail starts going down. And you know, every foot you drop in elevation is another foot you have to make up. So even though the walking is easier, you start to just get this little resentment because you know you're going to have more work ahead. And speaking of debt, how many times have you made that long push to your next water source, trying to conserve, and then you get there, realizing that you've still got 1.5 liters of water, and there's a cold spring, and you've been packing an extra 3 pounds for the last 3 miles. But the trail does have a way of helping you move on, because you're going to be on those long uphills, sweating your butt off, and you're going to think to yourself, why am I doing this? I don't ever want to do this again. And then after you get to the top of that climb, the trail evens out, and after 5 minutes, you've forgotten how hard it was. Everything feels easy, and you're really enjoying yourself. And the next time you have some elevation coming up, you think to yourself, yeah, I can do this. You realize time doesn't work the same out here. Some days, you're amazed that you've gone 9 miles by noon. And then other days, you're sure you've been walking for 4 miles and realize that it's only been 20 minutes. Time paradox. And then there's the super specific craving. Yeah, after you've been out there for a few days, suddenly, obsessively, you're not just thinking of a hamburger, you're thinking of the double cheese with ham and bacon from your favorite place 100 miles away from your home. For me, it's weird. I start craving a burger and a Sprite. But the weird thing is, I don't drink Sprite in real life. But once I'm out there, it's all I can think about. So those cravings, they become obsessive. One day, spent 3 whole days hiking. All I could think of was a sausage dog. I hate sausage dogs. But the real reason I keep coming back is that 3-day shift. So inevitably, when I get out on the trail, I got things banging around in my head, problems at home, problems at work, neighbors, whatever. Maybe it's bills. But somehow, some way, about that 3rd day, realize those things are silly. They don't matter at all. And now I know what's crucial and I know what's important. And generally it's that water, that food, that stillness. And it gets into you. And then when you get back to the trailhead, get back into a town, you realize how loud and busy everything is because your mind is finally quiet. So those are the things I experience that nobody told you on YouTube. So that's the reality that I haven't seen on YouTube. And if you're a new backpacker, you'll probably experience some of those too. And if you're not a new backpacker, I'm curious, how many of the things on this list are things that you've experienced? More importantly, what are the things that you find happening on the trail or in your head while you're out there that you haven't seen people talk about on YouTube? Share it in the comments, and maybe that'll resonate with other people. I want to thank you guys for stopping by today, and hopefully I'll see you out on the trail.